How come I wasn't able
All right.
All right, here we go. Michael moonwalks past child grooming. First things first, there's a legal agreement that they could not mention the boy Evan Chandler. Right? Once again, Michael was acquitted of all charges. Now, why is Cam James doing this? What information does Cam James has that the feds didn't have? Mind you, the FBI was on Michael's ass. Matter of fact, Kamala Harris was helping the case. Did y'all know that? Do you remember? She was helping the prosecution of Michael Jackson. There's an old video of her. This is it. Pay attention. Remember. All right?
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
In the longer clip, she was like, yeah, we're helping, we're giving assistance to the case. Okay? It's always going to be your own people. Always. Now, let's go to the comments. So he's already copping pleas. The dislike bombing has already begun. Never get between a human and their nostalgia bait music video playlist. My sources are cited in the description. Sir, I'm not understanding. All the kids came out and said, no, our parents told us to do it. He beat the case. The two kids signed to his label, right? This is okay. He says, I believe the victims, and he was declared not guilty as opposed to innocent. When you go to court, what do you plead? Everybody, when you go to court, there's two statements you either give. How do you plead? How do you plead? When you go to court, there's two pleas you can give. What are they? You either say, I'm guilty or I'm not guilty. Who the hell says I'm innocent? Go to court and say, I'm innocent. Sir, what do you plead? Sir, how do you plead? Now we're talking basic civic. We're talking basic civic law. Just basic civics. How do you plead? This nigga said he was declared not guilty as opposed to innocent. Sexual assault is difficult to prove. This movie didn't cover dangerous. It covered off the wall through bad. Okay, what's your point? I'm not understanding what Cam was expecting. All his kids were reportedly born via IVF, but the point about sex and his suggested performance stands. This nigga's I'm cool on this guy. Y'all got it, man. So MJ was acquitted of 10 counts in 2005, 4 of them conspiring to commit lewd acts upon minors, 4 of them drugging minors to assist in Jesus juice. Remember during the Jackson trial, they kept accusing Michael of giving them Jesus juice. He was spiked the grape juice. They said he spiked the grape juice. They kept calling it Jesus juice. Y'all remember, right? 1 of attempted lewd act on a minor, 1 of providing alcohol to minors. It's interesting how you upset MJ detractors get when confronted with the fact that the testimonial and hearsay evidence that he's been changed multiple times like that is not evidence. Okay. So they're pushing back on him. Look at this. For your information, 10 of the 12 jurors were interviewed on TV after the trial, and 7 of them said they believed MJ was factually innocent. 2 believe he was probably guilty, but not with the current accuser, and 1 was not sure. And this jury had 0 black people on it, so it wasn't an OJ thing. Some of y'all really like this guy. I'm thoroughly disappointed in this kid. He's a kid to me. So let me do my part. So let's go here. Some of y'all, hey, once again, I don't tell you who to listen to, but it's always going to be your own people. Sir, he has a 2-story bedroom. He has a 2-story bedroom. He slept at the top floor. The kids slept on the bottom floor. Now, say anything else, I'm gonna get you the fuck up out of here. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and help you out. Let me go ahead and get you up out of here. Just on GP, because I don't have the time. I don't have time for it. Nobody touch him. Nobody touch him. I got you. I got you, Chief. Matter of fact, let's look at Michael's bedroom. Yes. How big was Michael Jackson? Heal the world, make it a better place. How big was Michael Jackson's bedroom in Neverland? Neverland. Make it a better. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Michael Jackson's bedroom at Neverland was a 2-story apartment-sized master suite, described as having a lower level with a sitting area, fireplace, and a large bed, and an upper level featuring a massive cedar closet with a hidden secret room. Reports indicate the lower level was roughly 638 square feet, about the size of a 3-car garage. It was a 2-story suite attached to a 12,598 square foot main house. It featured a seating area, couches, a tile fireplace, a large flat screen TV, stereo system, and a luxurious bathroom with a jacuzzi that overlooked the patio. A hidden door in the back of the second floor cedar closet led to a secret room. The bed was described as a large central piece of furniture surrounded by plenty of space for furniture such as large sofa and chairs. Reports often mention it was large enough to hold multiple large lounge style chairs, and children would often sleep on the floor or in the bed during visits, say. Okay. Let's take a look. Where is it at? Which one is it? Which one is it? So which one is it? So this is the photo of his bedroom. That's the lower level. So that's the lower level. Who said, was it Macaulay? Okay, wait. Oh my gosh. Who said Michael? Let's play dumb. Who said Michael Jackson slept on the top floor of his bedroom? Was it Macaulay that said that? Michael himself stated that he slept on the floor rather than in the bed when children stayed in his bedroom. Okay, Okay, Martin Bashir did. It was Macaulay, right? Macaulay said it. Okay. This is Macaulay. He said he never did anything inappropriate to me. We simply spent time playing video games or going to the park. The issue began when the media blew things out of proportion after discovering we had slept in the same room, failing to mention that his room had 2 floors and 3 bathrooms. People made assumptions without understanding the full context. Yes, I did sleep in his bed, but to me, there was nothing wrong with it. I was just a kid having fun. And like any child, I would eventually fall asleep. My parents never pressured me to visit him. I went to his house because I generally enjoyed myself, and that was the only reason. It was truly unfair how much misinformation has been spread about him. Okay. Now let's get back to one named Cam James. Let's see how much of this nonsense, of this slough I can stand. Okay. Let's go.
In several instances in my life where I've had to learn an important lesson. Never meet your idols. In my opinion, that phrase needs to be restated. Never idolize human beings in the first place. Maybe that comes from the career I've built where I constantly demonstrate that prominent black figures are scammers and manipulators, but I think it's a good way for anyone to move through life in general. I've always been a huge fan of almost all the music Michael Jackson produced in his career. I was raised on it just like you were. We used to dance to his records in the living room, and I had all his moves memorized. Like, I idolized the dude. He was a singular talent, a genius in more ways than one, and a sincere but deeply flawed representative for his heal the world ethos. Trigger warning, assault, etc. Y'all clicked off or clicked ahead to the next chapter? All right, bet. Last warning, and we're moving on. He also allegedly molested multiple children. He definitely slept in the same bed as many of them on dozens of occasions. I watched Leaving Neverland and read articles about his molestation allegations.
Now, his first source is Leaving Neverland. Now, we all know that was a fluff piece. That was a hit piece. Now, you've already discredited your entire thesis, bruh. The fact that you're actually going to quote and cite Leaving Neverland. Okay. So that's your first mistake.
In preparation for this particular review, just to remind myself of what he'd been accused of as an antidote to all the hype that consecutive performances of Michael Jackson songs can inject. That shit was devastating, I'm not gonna lie. While Michael was pronounced innocent of all formal charges,
he was found innocent. What's the problem here, Cam?
Fact remains that his supporters have forgiven what's at best an extremely disgusting pattern of behavior, and at worst, one of the most blatant campaigns of child abuse ever. That behavior started during this film's timeline, and they didn't say shit.
So he's mad that they legally couldn't talk about the case with the supposed victim. It was already settled. So okay.
This is my first entry in this film review series, so let me explain why I named it Below the Surface. We're going to get deep, like the rest of my work, but in a way that takes the opposite approach to my investigation. Those videos are about the facts, while here, we're going to focus primarily on how things made me feel. The number one job of any film is to make people feel something. Now, facts are going to be mentioned here because they play into how people feel about biopics. It definitely plays a part in how I feel about this one. However, I'll always bring us back.
Okay. The verdict. Okay, so let's go to the verdict. So you're mad at the jury because they found him not guilty?
Michael, a film by Training Day and the Equalizer series director Antoine Fuqua, is a well-directed, visually arresting film with an emotionally resonant...
Okay. Visuals, don't care about that. Casting and score, don't care about that. Don't care about the plot. Let's go to the allegations. Let's go.
Okay, we got to bring some difficult facts into the picture now. Another trigger warning.
He keeps calling them facts. But the man was found not guilty. But okay, I'm here for it.
Timestamp if you have no interest in hearing about all the inappropriate relationships Mike had with kids. Okay, let's dive in. I'll keep it as quick as I can. The film focuses really hard on the philanthropy Michael did with sick and dying children. And that was amazing to see. He had an enormous heart and loved children on a level that few can relate to. That said, Michael was also casually hanging out with famous little boys and girls as early as 1975 when he was 17. Tatum O'Neal was 12, and that 5-year gap between 12 and 17 isn't the same as me dating a 31-year-old. Those two watched Roots at Hugh Hefner's house and hung out in a jacuzzi after. Michael claimed she came onto him aggressively at 12 years old, while she denied this in her memoir from 2004, claiming he made out with her before backing out of it. Her claims are contradicted by her own 1995 statements about Michael, though.
Then why'd you even bring it up? Why'd you even mention it then?
Where she called him gentle and claimed he wouldn't. I'm not assigning blame here, but there's zero mention of any of this in the film. Not relevant to a biopic? If you say so, I'll keep going. When Michael was 23, he met Brooke Shields, a 15-year-old girl. Jackson called her one of the loves of his life and claimed that they dated throughout her remaining teenage years.
Now, is he going to go this hard on Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Chuck Berry, Celine Dion's husband, manager Renee? Is he going to do a deep dive on them too? Because there's a whole lot of motherfuckers you need to cancel if we're going to go down this rabbit hole. So this is his basis of him trying to frame the narrative that Michael liked them young. Okay, Cam. I'm not shocked, but the level that you're... Jesus, man, come on.
She called that pathetic and said they were non-sexual and platonic friends. Whether it happened or not is irrelevant. He thought they were dating. Not relevant to a biopic? Let's look at his young male friends. Macaulay Culkin, Jordan Chandler, Gavin Arvizo, Wade and Chantal Robson, Brett Barnes, James Safechuck. The list does go on. Probably too close to a grown-ass man, two of whom were with him damn near all the time, publicly and privately. Almost all of these happened just outside of this film's timeline in the 90s, but not all of them.
Okay. Optics are bad. Optics always look crazy, especially as me as a parent. Yeah, that looks crazy. Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that. But once again, out of all the children, let's just get to the court verdict. Once again, a jury of his peers, white people, said not guilty. I don't know what else you want from what else. What are we talking about? Michael Jackson. So I'm waiting for Cam's facts to come into play, because all you presented was circumstantial evidence at best. I'm waiting for these facts. Acquittal. Let's go to the acquittal. Okay, Michael Jackson acquitted. Let's go here. Man, 14 charges. Y'all, he beat 14 charges. A unanimous verdict after 7 days of deliberation. Are you kidding me right now? Was found not guilty on all counts, including 4 counts of lewd acts upon a child, 4 counts of acting in a lascivious manner, 4 counts of administering intoxicating liquor, that's the Jesus juice, and 2 counts of conspiracy. There's nothing to talk about at this point. Are you fucking kidding me right now, man? So who are you mad at? I'm not understanding. Who are you mad at?
Well, and the other witness that you called was Wade Robson.
Yes.
Who ultimately was one of the 2 people who did Leaving Neverland. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in this case, Wade Robson took the stand to say that Michael Jackson never did anything improper.
Wade Robson was my first witness. And as I said before, if you're putting on a defense case, you want to start strong, you want to end strong. We started with Wade Robson, we ended with Chris Tucker. Macaulay Culkin was our second witness. I met with Wade, I met with his mother, I met with his sister. I called all 3 of them as witnesses. And Wade was adamant to me that he was never touched, that he was never violated, that these allegations were nonsense. Because remember, they put on some witnesses to say Wade was molested,
right?
That they saw it. And he was such a strong witness for us, such a strong defender and supporter of Michael Jackson, that I made him our first witness. But I also called his mother and his sister, who had traveled with Wade and Michael on some of these tours. And they testified they never saw anything bad happen or anything wrong happen. And I mean, the 3 of them could not have been stronger advocates for Michael Jackson. So when I heard about this movie, Leaving Neverland, I was stunned, absolutely stunned, because he talked to me. He was adamant.
So we'll do it back and forth. We'll do it back and forth.
He very famously hung out with Emmanuel Lewis on tour in 1983 when he was 12. That was the same year Lewis's show Webster premiered. Since the sequel to this first film is going to go into the sexual abuse era, I won't go super deep here. Those parents got expensive gifts like Cartier watches and sometimes full-time jobs in exchange for allowing this twisted shit to continue. Who else pays off parents with employment opportunities?
Okay, so who are you mad at? Once again, 12 people found this man not guilty. 14 counts. So you didn't find him guilty on not one count? One out of 14? Okay. Come on.
This is driver and maid. Who settles for millions with the families of lawsuit plaintiffs? The parents are also outside their goddamn minds for letting any of that happen. But that doesn't excuse him. I'll leave it there and promise to revisit when the sequel glosses over and twists all this to the extreme. Calling it now, that one's gonna be way worse than this was. We'll know they're doing it justice if they end up having a gang of teenage white boys in the cast list. It's also very crucial for me to mention that many families were offered hundreds of thousands of dollars to lie about Michael Jackson by the tabloids. This
Leaving Neverland as his crux or his basis of his argument is disgusting.
Was never touched. I called him as my witness. He testified under oath he was never touched.
Got to be kidding
and then a
me.
very, very good prosecutor, Ron Zonin, terrific prosecutor and a vicious cross-examiner, went after him tooth and nail, and he never budged. He said it's ridiculous. He never did anything like this to me.
Well, like you said,
words to that effect.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the trial lasted from January to June 2005. And at the end, Michael Jackson was acquitted on all 14 charges.
10 felonies and 4 misdemeanors.
Yeah.
They didn't get him on anything. In fact, just so you know, he was indicted by a grand jury for 10 felony counts. At the end of the trial, as it was going to the jury, The judge said he's going to give the jury some options on the last 4 felony counts. If they acquit him of any of those last 4 felony counts, I'm going to give them the option of convicting of a misdemeanor. So they had to say guilty or not guilty 14 times, 10 felonies, 4 misdemeanor options. They said not guilty all felonies, not guilty all misdemeanors, not guilty anything.
Sitting next to Michael Jackson, what was his reaction when he heard that news?
You know, he came in the courtroom that day. His cheeks were sunken in. He looked frozen with fear. He just was weakened. You could just see it in his eyes, see it in the way he carried himself. I think he was terrified with fear. I think a lot of people had said to him, the media says you're going to be convicted. I happen to know some people told him he was going to be convicted. And they were trying to cheer him up that there'll be an appeal and all this. I never said that to him. We went into the courtroom. We sat down. The media was packed in the courtroom and outside the courtroom. In fact,
wait. He didn't beat just 10 felonies. He beat 10 felonies involving children, y'all. He beat 10 felonies involving children. And you know how children is a soft spot for damn near everybody. Okay? If you mention a child, you're guilty off top. So the fact that, once again, Cam is using Finding Neverland or Leaving Neverland as his source of facts, this is disgusting work from this young man. What's your... I don't understand what was the point of all this. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Cam James, shame on you, sir, young man. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Wow. Okay. Hey, I get it. Anything for the algorithm. I'll leave it at that. Anything for the algorithm.